persons who are heading some kind of institution, that means they are bosses. I get a very unique feeling, and today I must give them a suggestion. One of the greatest pleasure I feel of being the boss or heading any institution, any kind of boss, whether you are running a 3-person staff or you are the boss running an organization of 30,000 employees, irrespective, my friend, the pleasure of being boss or heading the institution is that you get to call the shots. Meeting will begin when you say begin. Meeting ends when you say it's over. And that takes place when you want them to take their places. They end when you say they are you're done with them. Whether you are a great uh, boss or a bad one, you answer to no one who is under your charge. They all answer you. That is the advantage of being a boss, my friend. Now, along with this advantage, there is a great danger also, of which I am going to speak today. There is a danger underside to this which eludes many bosses. Once they get inside their comfortable cocoon of all powerfulness. My friend, as a boss, you alone know how much you depend on your people. Without their loyalty and support, you are just simply nothing. You know this. And if you are a wise leader, you remind your people repeatedly that you know how much you need them. But you should never forget that it's a two-way street. Just as you are dependent on your staff or on your employees, they are also equally dependent on you in ways that you may have nothing to do with on-the-job performance. They crave your attention, your approval, your affection. If you've got any sort of charisma as a leader, they literally gauge their status in the organization by how much face time they get from you. And I suppose there is nothing wrong with this. What better way for the troops to do to develop that by getting face time with their leaders so that they can observe and then emulate their behavior. But this codependency can develop into a trouble also, my friend. Now I'll give you an example of one of the friend, a lady friend I know. She is an editor-in-chief of one of the top women's magazine. An incredibly well organized lady who took pride in her ability to jingle her high pressure job and still maintains a sane family life with her husband and 2 young kids. She's pretty close to being a perfect boss, fair, egalitarian, kept her door open to everyone. That means she was very easily accessible. She was even fair to the people afar. She fired them, but always helping them get a new job. The payoff, my friend, for perfection, however, was not what she expected. As dedicated, having having it all. Mom, she tried to be home by 6:30 p.m. each every evening, and to be with her family, with her husband, with her children. Over time, she noticed that she was making more and more excuses for working late, and to the point that within 2 years she was regularly at her desk until 9:30 or 10 p.m. At first, she thought it was simply because she loved her job. Running a glamorous money-making magazine can be loads of fun. Surely, I agree. But as she analyzed the problem, she realized it has nothing to do with her. Actually, her staff depended on her too much. A lot of it could be blamed on her openness, on her accessibility, on her availability to everybody. She had created an environment where it was easy to get face time with the boss. So everyone naturally wanted face time. Of course, this put her in a never-ending upward spiral where she could never leave the office. People were always coming into her at the end of the day saying, I just need 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. And being the perfect boss, she would give it to them. Paradoxically, she was losing control because she was in control. My friend, to regain control, she gathered her staff and announced, okay, from now on, my door is closed after 5:45 p.m. After that, it's get out of my face time. Only my kids will get my face time. That only slowed, it only slowed down, not slowed down, but I would say it's only solved half the problem. She got home by 6:30 every night, but her staff felt lost and abandoned. This sudden move, the sudden decision of removing the dependency, it was counterproductive. And that's a time I entered the scene and she talked to me. I got involved. Making the staff less dependent on her, I said, was a good thing, but they will needed leadership. They will needed it to be to be redirected. I had her arrange discussion with each of her direct reports to discuss two things simply. One, I wanted to ask each of them, let's look at your responsibilities. Are there areas where you think I need to be more involved and less involved? She was making them define that area where they could legitimately ask for face time with her, an area where it was not legitimate. In effect, she was delegating more responsibility to them, but in a generous and empowering way. She was allowing them to determine how much responsibility they could take. And two, I wanted her to see, now let's look at my job. Do you ever see me doing things that a person at my level shouldn't be doing? Such as getting involved in details that are too minor to worry about. She was forcing them to come up with an idea for how she could become more disengaged. In effect, she was letting them help her to get home by 6:30 p.m. What better gift can a leader present to his or her troops? And I would say vice versa. I didn't have to remind her to say thank you. Remember, my friend, that this next time you find yourself trapped by a needy, demanding staff or demanding employee, if they need too much of your time, you can't just tell them to stop bothering you. You have to wean them away and make it seem like it's their idea. Let them figure out what they should be doing on their own. Let them tell you where you are needed. There's a time for there's a very fine line between legitimate FaceTime and get out of the FaceTime. My friend, it's up to you. As boss, you make the troops face that. Stop being, I say, stop letting your staff overwhelm you, and you will have all the time for yourself, your work, and your family in a right balance. Thank you very much.